So one of the key innovations that the NDC is saying, and our flag bearer is saying, is that no, we are going to create the 24-hour economy. What it means is that you work, first part you work, when you close, the business also continue, people come. So a job that you employ, let's say 10 people, who end up employing average of let's say 30. Then people make fun of it and say that, oh, but if you are going to employ, why will you invest somebody to employ? Because there is no demand for it and all those things. Let me just give you a practical example. We know that when you are working during the daytime, the businessman is interested in making profit. So he takes a very cognizant of the cost of doing the business, because it's going to pay electricity bill. So during the daytime, he may decide to off some of the light and do production so that his cost of doing the business, and then he can make more profit. So if you ask that business person to produce in the night, it means that his cost of producing will not be high because he has to pay for additional electricity bill. So Mama is saying that, okay, my fiscal policy, what I'm going to do is that I'm going to emphasize you. The electricity that you are going to use in the night, it will be reduced. You are going to use a different tariff system. So if you use a different tariff system, what it means is that though you are going to use electricity, the light in the night, your cost of producing will become equal to what you have been doing during the daytime. Incentive. So you will not say, okay, my cost of production will not be too high. So you will not be motivated that, oh, I can run 24 hours. Then people said, oh, but if you do, what will be the demand for it? What is the demand for all these business things? But let me tell you, when assuming that Mama said, okay, we are going to produce furniture for all the schools, and the government said that furniture must be produced by a local company. So what if we are going to incentivize the local company to produce the whole they know? What it means in that case that there is already demand for it, because the person produced, there is, how do you call it, an action for it. Yes, that will absorb the furniture. Another thing that you mentioned that, you see, NDC we think before we say this. You know, we established the FC Bank. What is the purpose of that FC Bank? Is to promote the non-traditional exports. And what are the non-traditional exports? They are not the cocoa, the diamond, the oil. They are the cosmetics, the dresses that people make. So if we incentivize people that the people can produce in the night, it means that the FC Bank then come in now to assist them to also export their commodity. And remember, when they export, what are they bringing? They are bringing dollar to the economy. So the shortage of the dollar, where your dollar will be dancing like Baumia dancing on the stage, will be the thing of the past, because the dollar will be available now. So you see how it is linked to the 24-hour economy. You link it to the Exim Bank. Now, how do you also do that one? After linking to the Exim Bank, remember, a lot of women are in the informal sector, and the women must also produce. So you create a bank for the women, which will remove the obstacle of access to loans. So women will now also have money, produce traditional goods, and then as the bank help them, they also export. So in that case, you reduce the poverty, the vulnerability of women. So the whole thing is a web. You need to think about it. So you don't need to just come to a table and say, I'll create 22,000 jobs. How are you going to create it? It must be sustainable.
So that's interesting. And for those of you who are watching, this is the live coverage of the NDC 2024 Manifesto launch. We are here at the University of Education, Winnipeg. My guests are helping us to look at expectations and, of course, break down some of the policy issues. In 2020, John Mahama, then as a candidate, raised several issues in the manifesto, what they described as the People's Manifesto. At that time, we got the understanding that it was a bottom-up approach. They got on the ground, spoke to different groups of people, various stakeholders, understood what the people want, and that is what has informed that manifesto they put out. In 2024, we understand that it is almost the same process, and John Dramani Mahama has assured that it is not about presenting a crop of people he would describe as appointees or people working with his government who know it all. He's going to open up his government, bring on board all kinds of brains, brainstorm on issues, come together, understand what will drive this country forward. I'm sharing with you some highlights of the 2020 manifesto in the form of graphics. I'll read along some of them. I just want you to reflect on some I'll be referring to as they appear on the screen, because at that time he made reference to one major policy initiative he described as roll out the big push policy, which he said he was going to set aside $10 billion as investments in infrastructure, and this was going to include dualization of major roads. They were going to look at the railway sector, hospitals, markets, schools, and etc. These, directly or indirectly, were supposed to create jobs. Now, he was also looking at macro fiscal policies, tax waivers, reduce inflation, boost revenues, encourage vehicle assembly of companies, introduce rural investor incentive to create meaningful employment. Of course, he was talking about provision of tax incentives for indigenous and value chain industries. It was talking about introducing the agriculture value chain tax incentives regime, engaging landlords in real estate investors and tenants to review the Rent Act, review or expand the free SHS program to include the private senior high schools, which is very, very instrumental here, because we know of the double track system, we know of the need for expansion and the cry by private schools for expansion. He was talking about setting up a gold board for small scale mining sector, and then of course he made reference to special pensions. And of course, if you look at it, it will come across on the special pension schemes for the cocoa and cashew farmers, driver unions such as GPRTU, Protua and cooperatives, Ghana Union of Traders Association, beauticians and hairdressers, dressmakers and tailors, garages, artisans, and it goes on and on and on. I'll share with you more of what was captured in the 2020 manifesto, but I've had conversations that the NPP's 2024 manifesto, for example, is a copycat of some of the promises made by the NDC in 2020. Yes, when it comes to the area of jobs, all of them will share their ideas, whether through digitalization or through the agri sector or industrialization. For you as an architect, directly or indirectly, of this manifesto that will be unveiled, what do you see that is very instructive that NDC can boast of and hold on as your work?
So thank you very much. You know, when I heard Honorable Baumia shouting of digitization comes with infrastructure. Without the infrastructure, digitization cannot start. Who started the digitalization drive? You realize that in essence, we even have the digitalization center established around the cycle and the biotic, cables lay. So when he's talking about digitization, he hasn't provided even any infrastructure to even start off the system. But my brother, let me just before I give you information on what Baumia said, and whether they've copied our manifesto or not, or whatever is happening, Ghanaians are there. Let's look at this again. There's a fundamental question that I think Ghanaians need to be asking Baumia. Currently, we are paying Baumia, we employ Baumia as our vice president of this country, which everybody knows, and we are using our money to pay him. And as we are paying him, he has to work. He has not finished his work, and we are still paying him. And he is supposed to manage the economy, and he is the head of the economic management team. And now you are receiving salary. Unless he comes to say that he's not receiving that, he's receiving the salary now as the one to be working for us, and telling you that you don't worry, I'm not going to work. When you elect me, before I'll do A, B, C, D, then why are you taking salary now? Then you have to resign, because I'm paying you to make my life better. You are taking that salary, but you are telling me that no, you don't worry, continue suffering. When you elect me now to become a president, I'll do A, B, C, D. Now let's go to the A, B, C, D that you wanted to do. You just say something very simple now. Go to our 2020 manifesto. Most of the thing he said is just copy and paste. And you know one thing the MPP is very good at? They copy, paste, but they don't know how to implement, because they don't have the implementation plan. I can tell you for sure, everything John Mama will say here today as a promise, we have already developed an implementation plan waiting for that implementation. We don't just come and make the noise, and then go back now before we are thinking everything that we have done. So
which is very interesting. Of course,
yes.
We'll be taking a short break, but don't forget that this is the 2024 manifesto launch of the NDC. This started way back in 1992. At that time, it was restoring stability after a decade of military rule. In 96, the NDC's manifesto was themed around economic stabilization, infrastructure, housing, roads, health, and education. In 2000, it was launched by Professor Millsden, need for continuity. In 2008, because NPP had won election in 2000 and Kufuor had been in power between 2001 and 2009. 2008, the manifesto at that time was centralized on what was promised Ghanaians: better Ghana, jobs, health and education. 2024, consolidating gains. 2012, consolidating gains by the Mills Mahama administration. 2016 was hinged on infrastructure, which has become the trump card of John Dramani Mahama. And we have seen 2020 People's Manifesto, and we are waiting for the 2024 manifesto launch. I've been doing this with two academicians, and of course, this program is not ending. The event should be starting officially from 12 o'clock. Don't go away. This is Wezo TV Election Center. After this break, we'll continue with our conversation.
The victory of Muhammad.
As a student, I'd want to vote for someone that can guarantee that after my years in school are done, I'll get a job that can feed me. Listening to what the 24-hour economy entails, there's no two ways about it that John Mahama is the president. This is why I choose John Mahama.
The victory of Muhammad.
Atom Emmanuel Mam. It chose James because in like a lady money about man no ya. Eyake wonye me ni oje ame malewo. Ame lakawo ame kana gba our economy. Biani to ma ni wole yake James lady money ba nye esa ma ni ma ba ya. No one choose James.
I choose JM because I would want to see him continue his good works, such as building the hospitals, schools, etc. And then I would want to see him particularly to introduce the 24-hour economy. This is why I chose JM.
The victory of Muhammad.
John Dramani Mahama because he's a visionary leader. He is visionary but not a prophet. He couldn't have predicted the COVID-19 outbreak, but he built an ultra-modern hospital which came in handy during the pandemic. This is why I choose John Dramani Mahama.
The victory of
say all the nice things they want to say about JM, but I choose JM for his straightforward tax approach. No reciprocity, no sloganeering, experience over experiment, a Jumera all the way.
Everybody wants JM to come, including even the MPP themselves. We need a change of government. We need a competent, a down-to-earth. We really need a political surgeon to come and restore the health of the country.
More than 100% yes. He has to come.
We've never had someone who have had a one-time experience going back to reflect. So he comes with a lot of reflection and circumspection. He comes with a lot more vigor, having been back in opposition for 8 years. And we all know that he is a transformational leader, and he certainly has reflected. This would provide us with a leader who would not only hit the ground running, but run in the right direction.
You don't measure the greatness of a leader only by his achievements, but you look at the obstacles that the person has overcome. I believe that John Mahama has what it takes: the experience, the wisdom, the track record, the integrity to take Ghana back to its position of destiny.
Akufo-Addo does not have experience, and we can all see he didn't have experience. He's collapsed the economy, nothing is working well. So things he has been there, he knows how to get us out of this mess. I'm sure Ghanaians would really their votes behind him to come and save us, because we're in a mess.
We are at a place where the country is almost shattered, and we need someone who has the requisite skills and the needed expertise around him to execute the job. That person can only be John Dramani Mahama and no other person else.
In leadership and the electorate, you must build trust, and this is what President Mahama has been able to build. He's been able to establish trust between himself and the electorate, especially at the grassroots level.
The country has to progress. The only person that has got the magic wand, the only person that has done it before, the only person that has uplifted the people, and the only person that continues to have the passion, the commitment, and want to go the fuller extent of providing relief to the people and ensuring their sustainable livelihoods. It is Excellency John Mahama.
I believe that with his return in 2025, Ghana will rediscover her true self, and Ghana will be back on the path of progress.
He didn't let us sleep. He pressurized us. 2 a.m. calls, 12 midnight calls. He said, I said I will fix Tumso, and I'll fix it. And he fixed it. He takes things that are damaged and he recreates or rebuilds them. It is these characteristics that make me know that even though the economy is in shambles, if he comes back, or when he comes back, he will rebuild and he will fix it.
Welcome back. This is the Wisdom TV Election Center. We are live from the University of Education, Winneba. The NDC is launching its 2024 manifesto today, and there's a lot of activity here. Young men, young women, the elderly, party supporters, former appointees, members of parliament, representatives of the party from abroad, as they call them, people in the diaspora. We also have party executives who are all gathered here. Representatives of the diplomatic community are also going to be part of this very, very important event. I've told you that there's so much confidence among NDC supporters that John Dramani Mahama will win the 2024 elections. And so the young men especially have that expectation that this manifesto will open up what they want to hear, what will affirm some of the promises by John Dramani Mahama and his running mate, Professor Nana Okubajuman. What is very, very common on the lips of many across the country: 24-hour economy, Women Development Bank, mechanizing agriculture, making agriculture easy for many people, attractive, where farm inputs, everything that is needed will be given to those in the farming communities or the farming belts, adding value to farm produce, reviewing how we mine in this country to make sure it is as responsible as we all want to expect, and what is most important, resetting Ghana. And of course, one thing that John Mahama has always been referring to is building the Ghana we want together. And so just as Ghanaians saw a president with his cabinet and people in government, mobilize Ghanaians, the people in academia, experts in the economy, the financial sector, etc., who met at Sechi at that time, we saw the revolutionization of Ghana's economy from the doomsday era to what we saw through the World Bank's prediction that Ghana's economy was going to grow by 7% because of the initiative that we're taking. He says he's going to do same as soon as he wins. Within the first 100 days, he's going to engage Ghanaians for discussions on the education sector, on the economy, for people to appreciate the true state of the economy so that Ghanaians will manage their expectations while he goes along to prioritize what he sees will address the concerns of Ghanaians, open up the industry, build confidence in the investment sector, create jobs, and then bring prosperity to Ghanaians. The next set of panelists I'll be engaging, they are well known to many of you, especially Dr. Justice Sremsai. He's a senior lecturer at the University of Ghana School of Law. You are welcome, Justice.
Thank you very much, my brother. How are you doing?
It's been a while.
Yeah, it's been a while.
You have beard, I don't have.
Yes, no, I have grown beard.
And of course, I'm bald, you are not.
Yes.
You're welcome.
Thank you very much. Happy to see you again.
A lot of Ghanaians enjoy you because for them, you speak to the issues and you open up the debate for people to also bring their input, all for the cause of Ghana. Happy to have you on Windsor TV.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Yeah.
My other guest is Dr. Albert Kwame Arthur. He's the patron for the 10th year at the University of Education Winneba chapter. You are welcome.
Thank you, sir.
You are not in party colors.
You
are not in party
colors. Oh, our colors. This shows that we already on the 7th December. It's a victory. It's a victory.
So you are celebrating ahead
exactly.
of
I'm celebrating ahead of time.
For you, what does this mean for the whole party to come to your campus to launch a manifesto, to be speaking to the youth through your platforms?
Well, in fact, it was a very great with excitement that when we received the news that the party manifesto for 2024 is going to be launched in Winneba and specifically on our campus. So some of us dedicated ourselves. From Monday, I'll be here all trying to help the national communication team and the local organizing committee as well to make sure that we put the place in order to ensure that we have a successful manifesto launch. And our youth are voices for change. But I always tell them that this election is not about NDC MPP, it's about the youth of Ghana. And therefore we cannot afford to take things for granted. It's a communal labor, and therefore we must all come together and work without being complacent. And I always tell them that set a goal that at least you talk to one or two individuals a day and tell them about the good policies of the NDC, like the 24-hour economy, which is going to bring job and prosperity. In other jurisdictions is that. So why can't we also implement it here? So it is a great honor for us to have manifesto launch of the NDC here right in Winneba. And we know that inshallah everything will be successful.
Okay, so those are your opening remarks. Now let me come to you, Dr. Justice Sremsai. Now, if you sit on the fence, you look at the narratives, the expectations among the youth, the challenges ahead, what must this manifesto ensure is captured?
Thank you very much. I think basically when you follow what is going on, regardless of whether it is an NPP person who is saying it or an NDC person who is saying it, one thing is settled, that the youth of this country have been given a raw deal for the past 8 years. Nothing has happened which has improved the lot of the Ghanaian youth. And the youth themselves are crying for a particular change. And so you cannot be a very competitive political party, you cannot be a very competitive politician, you cannot be taken seriously if you do not have a specific program, a critical demand, a very essential demand for our politics. In fact, not just for our politics, for the growth of this country, which is that you need to listen to the youth, not just to listen to them. When we see there's a difference between hearing the youth and listening listening to them. Listening to the youth means that you are really identifying their voices, you are taking them seriously, you are addressing what they need, and you are ready to provide and to help them, not to even provide something for them, to involve them in the discussion. So for example, if you have a manifesto and there is no specific involvement of youth and of the youth, and I'm not talking of general involvement as in we have the youth in the party. No, the youth must be given a front row, because it is clear that the whole world, if you look in the Western world, the developing world, everywhere you look, it is clear that you cannot make progress without giving the youth a front row to play. Because what is even the things that are driving development now, information technology, I mean, it is the youth that are moving it forward. It is the youth that are changing everything. So if you are a political party, you are a politician, or you are even any employer, even a business person, and you are not looking at this, then you are failed. And I think that is what set the NDC apart in this election, and the fact that NDC has identified this and have given a front row to the youth to even launch their manifesto ahead of the main manifesto. And even in the main manifesto, you will see, I have been on the committee, the manifesto committee, you would see that most of the things we are talking about is about the youth. So if you come to the legal aspect, we have something for legal education, we have something for access to justice, we have something for businesses of startups, young people starting businesses and what they are supposed to benefit. We have something for, 24-hour economy. I think we will come to that later, and I'll dedicate a whole period to explain what the 24-hour economy is about. So I think that as it stands right now, we are basically just waiting for the manifesto to be launched, and the people of this country will see that you cannot make progress without the youth, and NDC is going to make that clear to everybody.
And of course, it's very instructive for those who have been following the conversation that John Dramani Mahama has severally said that he's going to separate the Ministry of Youth and Sports and create a special ministry for the youth, which will be dedicated to youth-initiated policies driven and led by the youth, just as he says that the women front, the policies that will target their empowerment will be championed by his running mate, that is Professor Jane Nana Opoku Ajiman. Now you were speaking to issues about justice, governance, etc. Now 3 deliberate words which have been chosen to run along with this manifesto launch is jobs, accountability, and prosperity. When John Mahama had the opportunity to engage the media, the first one, which was held in Accra, which appears to be cutting across when you hear people speak to him, if the opportunity comes, is about his ability to ensure that there is accountability. How difficult can it be, or is it likely to be if he has to confront it head on?
Yeah, so talking of accountability and overcoming it or ensuring accountability has a direct connection with corruption. So, and we know corruption is the most difficult thing to fight, and we have seen it from the current government, that all the attempts that they have made to fight corruption have failed. From Galamsey, which is the root cause of Galamsey's corruption, when you come to what? Real corruption, bribery, and it's rife, and no one is doing anything about it. So the fight is a difficult one. It's a fight which must involve not just, talk. There must be the desire by the leader. And you see, people underestimate the role of leadership in ensuring accountability. If you are a leader and you show clearly that you do not tolerate corruption and you do not tolerate, bribery, everyone who follows you will change overnight. So, for example, if the first accusation of corruption comes and you think that the best way to do is to clear it and to say that you have cleared the person, what the signal you are sending to the whole government and the whole country is that you can do whatever you like, and I will be there to clear you. And when you do the second one, then it goes beyond assurance. It's now become a culture, and then the whole government, the whole system, the whole country sinks deep into it. So when you have a government which is prepared to fight corruption, you must look at the leader. Recently, and that is where John Mahama's integrity comes in. He is the only president, in recent history who has prosecuted his own appointee, and the appointee was found guilty and was jailed. What does that tell you? It's not easy to prosecute your appointee, and we all know, even that is why we say family and friends. It's not easy to prosecute people you have reposed confidence in to work for you. So if such a person has done something, you have prosecuted the person, it shows your commitment. Then come to this Airbus issue, which was, it was a non-issue from day one, because a report which was clearly a settlement agreement, which has said nothing, which has no evidence of anything, was used as a tool, and it was used for propaganda purposes. You remember that this thing came up just before the 2020 election. But at the end of the day, when the special prosecutor went through, he came out with a clear, what some of us knew from day one, that there was absolutely no evidence for anyone to do anything with. So what does that tell you? At least it speaks to the integrity of the person. So when such a person is telling you that I'm going to ensure accountability, then you know that at least he has demonstrated that before. He has a track record of fighting it. He has a track record of coming out clean even after falsely being accused and subjecting himself voluntarily to such investigation. Now back to, but there are more dimensions to, apart from the leader, you must also look at the justice system. The justice system is a key player in the fight against corruption, because if you have a system where it takes, let's even talk of duration, when it takes 4 years, 5 years, to prosecute one crime, what does that tell you? It tells you that then the criminal or the accused person or someone who has committed crime is motivated to commit that crime and
hope that the case will drag in court.
Yeah, because if the accused person wants the case to drag, so that at the end everybody gets tired, everybody forgets, and then something happens. That is one. Two, we have seen situations where they've been documented, evidence of bribery, even on the bench and even among practitioners. So all these people must come together, and they must be made aware that, you see, corruption is not just about one person. Corruption is about everybody, and it can affect everyone, and in fact it affects all of us. So the fight against corruption is not going to be easy, but if you have a leader who is determined, and you have a judiciary which is very, very ready and able to work, I believe that could be done.
So that's Dr. Justice Srem Sai, who is a senior lecturer at the University of Ghana School of Law, and I'm also speaking to Dr. Albert Arthur, who is the patron Tain, University of Education, Winnipeg. Now let me come to you. You are representing the academia. You deal with young men and women, students. The NDC has been telling us that we should expect in the 2024 manifesto a policy that will review free SHS, expand it, bring all hands on deck to look at a better way to, in tandem that even people are proposing that there should be a special fund that will guarantee sustainability. The NDC recently, when the youth manifesto was launched, spoke about absorbing or cushioning first-year students, where the academic user fees would be taken care of to free space for them to adjust and move on as they continue from. Flag bearer of the NDC has told us where or how he's going to fund it, giving us an idea. The details obviously will be in the manifesto. You work with students, you dine with them, and they are your colleagues virtually. Help us to appreciate how significant this free SHS business, whether the quality is being met, and this issue about students coming to school and having a policy that will sort of give them some support.
Yeah, I think, thank you very much for the question. I think we all attest to the fact that the implementation of the free SHS came with a whole lot of challenges, which a lot of stakeholders in different areas have mentioned the fact that there's a need for us to review. And when one person talks about review, all that they do, the propaganda way, is that when the person is given the mandate, is going to cancel it. Having worked with students for some time now, I see this review as very crucial and important to be able to address especially the issue of infrastructure, because there are areas that you can even go that we have students, they have lecture room, but where they will sleep becomes a challenge. So definitely that shift system will continue, and that was the reason why incoming President John Dramani Mahama came up the e-block system that was springing up all over Ghana, so that not every student living in the rural area have to leave the rural area and come back to be able to complete all the e-blocks that were left, to be able to ensure that every student get access. Considering the fact that ADC Manifesto, I made a promise from the president, from John Mahama, that first year students fees to be absorbed. I feel it's a very good thing, because often at times I know students who had admission and the students even have to report very late, but didn't have any money or any support from anywhere to be able to pay. So I feel that this policy of no fees just is very good, and it's going to help those who don't have the support, who have the means to be able to, once they get the admission, to be able to come to school and then start on time. But not only paying the school fees and paying the accommodation fee, but even how the person can survive. So if your academic user fee aspect is taken care of, then other resources that the student can get, whether from a acquaintance or from the parents or a guardian, at least that can also take care of the other aspects of the student's life as far as his educational ladder is concerned.
So this is Windsor TV Election Center. We are bringing you the live coverage of the NDC's 2024 Manifesto launch. We are at the University of Education, Winneba, and we are just at the Professor Joku's Anamwa Mensa Auditorium here at the University of Education, Winneba. And my guest, Dr. Justice Remsai, is a senior lecturer at the University of Ghana School of Law. And Dr. Kwame, is it Arthur? Arthur is also the TAIN president, so the TAIN, one of the TAIN patrons. Patron, and of course a lecturer here at the University of Education, Winneba. As I've told you, the program will be kick-starting in the next few minutes. We have seen a number of former appointees who have already taken their seats. I've seen Okujeto Ablakwa. He flashed when Randy was having a chat with lawyer Chum Berima and others out there. I know a number of the members of parliament have arrived. We also know that many parliamentary candidates of the NDC have also arrived. This event has been programmed such that there's representation in all the 275+1 constituencies across the country. The constituency executives, we have the regional executives of the party, national executives of the party, the council of elders of the party obviously will be here, and then of course we have representation from diaspora, and then we have also the members of the diplomatic corps, and of course you have the business community, which are all going to be very much interested in this manifesto launch. We are live on all the Windsor TV social media handles, and of course our partner stations, which are also picking this event live on radio and television, and those who are running their own social media TV platforms. We are grateful for you for joining us to share this conversation with millions across Ghana and around the globe. Now, the conversation is now dovetailing into what the NDC has been speaking about. Justice Sremsai wanted to speak more about the 24-hour economy. It has become a subject of interest because critics of the NDC are suggesting that it is likely to be difficult to implement in spite of all the explanations. Many are also looking at what opportunities are in there for people to tap into, right from education to health to any sector, especially construction. I, for example, met a young lady who's a nurse who was having a debate with me and said one thing that struck her, and she works at Kolebu Teaching Hospital, is that sometimes after midnight, when they are at the pediatrics department and children need oxygen or basic things, they have to go cross to another department. When it is closed, it is closed. And you'll be surprised that even though Kolebu is a tertiary medical facility, some of the departments close, including even the pharmacy. So they have to struggle or wait till the morning, especially those who cannot afford to go outside the facility. These are realities for them who will fast track development, will create opportunities and beyond that, save lives. Let me come to you. 24-hour economy. Some still harbor doubts.
Yes, so there are two kinds of doubts when it comes to the 24-hour economy issue. There are those who are questioning the implementation strategy. Okay, so they doubt it cannot be done. So that is one category. There's another category who claim that they don't understand or who don't understand at all. So there's a difference between not understanding, then we have to explain it to you, and then that is one, and then there's another one where the person understands but has challenges with what implementation. So let me deal with the first category of people who do not understand. It's a simple thing. So when you see the computers we use, the computers can be on for as long as you want, and in fact the modern computer can actually, while working, reboot itself to defragment, so they can run for as long as they want. Most equipments that we have can run for more than 8 hours. Some can run and then have a break in between and run for another 12 hours. The reason why those machines and equipment are designed in such a way that they actually intended to what? To function also. You see this AC, if we start operating it from the morning, so long as we are here, the AC will work and will not. That is how a lot of the equipment, a lot of things that we do today are designed. Take your house, a building, or take a school. The same school building can have different classes in it, and we run that even in our universities. So some students come, they sit in the same place, they go, maybe psychology students will come, when they leave, sociology students will come and occupy the same place, and the school can run for as long, because the building is an asset, and the more you use the assets, the more beneficial it becomes to you. The same applies to roads, the same applies to the hospitals we have, the same applies to most of the services we render. We already set up all these things to run for more than 8 hours. Then the question is, we run them for just 8 hours, then we leave them, how many hours left? That's 12 hours, making them unproductive. The question is, why wouldn't you understand if someone is telling you that instead of using 1/3 of something, you can use the entire thing? So once you agree that something which is there could be used beyond 8 hours, then you are on the road to understanding 24-hour economy. Now let's take the hospital issue, the situation that you raised. People say that the hospitals are already running 8 hours. What they don't know is that we have the front line of the hospital. So even that some of them, like Kolebu is a big hospital, anytime you go to Kolebu, you are likely to meet people who attend to you at any time. But inside the hospital, there are so many departments, many of which don't run 24 hours, many of which run 8 hours. If you take most of the government services that we provide, they close early, and then the rest they don't do any work. So the 24-hour economy is simply saying that we already have a lot of assets which are basically going waste. So we can capitalize on that and run them beyond the 8-hour shift. And it is possible for us to run up to 24 hours in the day. And that is how the beginning is. Now let me come to people who want to understand the implementation policy. Two main things prevent us from working at night. Most people would like to work at night, but two main things prevent them from working at night. Security, because it is natural that when there is darkness, people will do harm. So most often we all work in the day and go to sleep mainly because of security. That is one. Two, people also work and people also don't work at night because of what? Electricity. When it's dark, you have to illuminate the whole environment. So these are the core foundational things that prevent people from working in the night. Now the policy implementation is simply going to put in place one legal framework which would allow a lot of people to work across the board. Currently the labor laws we have actually is skewed to working in the day. The labor laws themselves are skewed to working in the day. So if you are a company, for example, and you want to let your workers work at night, the regime is slightly different from work 8 to 9. So those are some of the things that we are going to look at, and the manifesto is going to outline some of these things. Secondly, in terms of security, now government is going to take it upon itself to provide the needed security to prevent the crime that will be happening under the cover of the night. And that is even going to multiply employment, because here, let's even forget about the employment for the production of the, but even in the security sector alone, what it means is that you will need what? 2 more portions of the police service that you have, because they are going to be working 8 hours, so 2 more portions of the police service to provide security. And that is how much employment to start with. So if we talk about the provision of security alone, we have that number that will be increased. Now let's talk about production. If in a lot of companies can produce in the night, but then again, human resource, security, and electricity, these are their challenges. So if government lays down this foundation, that's providing security, providing electricity, and then the companies will now find it prudent and beneficial to work 24 hours or different shifts. And when they do that, production would increase. I read a post from one of the NPP, communicators, who was saying that, well, if you are paying 3 people for one work, then you are going to split the money to 3 people, which is a total misunderstanding of what
is it a misunderstanding or a way of misleading the public to assume that this 24-hour economy is going to...
I'm just trying to be kind. I'm just trying to be kind to her. Granted that is even her honest opinion, which I don't believe. I think she is a bit more enlightened to think like that way. But even if that is a genuine, honest thinking, I want to address that issue for our viewers to understand that is never what what we call the 24-hour economy is about. It's actually about employing 3 different people instead of 1, and giving each of them getting their own salary as if they were working for themselves, as if they were working one shift. And it also doesn't mean that you are going to work, one person is going to work throughout the 24 hours. No, it means that you do your normal hours. It's actually giving you choice to say that this week I actually can discuss with my employer, and instead of coming from morning to evening, I will come from maybe evening to midnight, and that is possible. So it's actually giving you choice as to how you even want to work. And those of our friends who work in Western countries, they know how useful this is. They know, they have been enjoying this 24-hour shift thing, so they know that, look, today I feel like going to do so. Let me inform my employer. Let them put in place an arrangement. So this week I want to work midnight, and they'll work from midnight to morning and come. So it means that they have the whole day to do other equally important or even more important
things. Let me come to you, Dr. Arthur. For example, I'm looking at NPP's 2024 manifesto. I'm looking at the highlights, and it will look or come across as some nice packages that they want to implement. For example, they are talking about utilizing government purchasing power to stimulate industrial expansion and business growth, and this is talking about creating opportunities for jobs, and it's a buy Ghana first policy which will boost industrial sector in Ghana. They are talking about reforming the licensing regime from small scale mining sector, reducing the minerals export tax, and then talking about financing viable mineral projects in Ghana. It is talking about completing the digitalization of land titling and registration to enable property owners to use their assets as collateral and so on. Are these not good enough and convincing for you as NDC, who would want to now compare yours to theirs, even though yours is yet to come out? What do you see in this? Some would say good to go.
One thing that we know of the NPP, that they are good in sloganeering. They will always come up with, they started with 8 hospitals, and then they moved to Agenda 111. We ask ourselves, how many of these hospitals have they been able to start, that they have been able to complete and commission as we talk? So they are only good in bringing the slogan policies. Even when we talk about digitization, NDC, we will build the Digital Center. But Dr. Bawumia continued to create that poster and that impression that he is the one who started the whole thing. So we believe that even from the NDC Youth Manifesto that was launched, we have policies, as Doc said, the NDC is ready to involve the youth. They must be at the forefront in ensuring the implementation of its policies, so that the youth will feel that we are part of this, we are leading the agenda, and we have the hope that John Dramani Mahama is someone who says I will do A, he ensures that he will do. Within the poor period that John Mahama had and the things that he did, we all know. If you look at our own debt to GDP, 120 and now we're 740 billion, and we don't have anything that they can tell us or can show in terms of the money that they have borrowed, and we have corruption all over. President Mahama made it very clear that if you consider the wastage in the system, the National Cathedral whole alone can pay a lot of money will be left. So I'm very confident that President John Dramani Mahama is somebody who says and he does. He's a nation builder, and we all saw the things that he did. He did just that 4 years of his rule, and we know very well that his coming back is to reset Ghana and to build a Ghana that we all want together.
So this conversation is live from the University of Education, Winneba, and as you know, the NDC will be launching their 2020 manifesto. As we speak, lots of people have arrived. There's a lot of excitement out there. Randy will be sharing with you shortly his conversation with those who are part of the jubilation around, because for them, this is when the NDC actually will be kickstarting its campaign, because they will now be speaking to Ghanaians about what they promised to do. Now, this whole issue about manifesto, track record, or the personality in the candidature of whoever is leading a political party and so on and so forth, you would notice that many people are expecting that while you have said it, there should be the issue about the easy or how easy it will be to implement some of these policies. Just recently, an Afrobarometer report spoke about the youth who have lost confidence in our democracy. This manifesto, especially when your opening remarks spoke about the advantage John Mahama has among the youth because of the confidence they have in him, this will be the moment where his manifesto should be speaking to how things will be turned around to change the psyche and perhaps revive that sense of patriotism.
Yes, so this manifesto is focusing on the youth and then women, because not only is it because women are more, they constitute a larger portion of, section of the population, and the youth even more when you do it against youth, children, and then the aged. So it tells you that this manifesto is for the people, and it's supposed to, and this manifesto is going to actually change the face of politics, because like I said, you cannot be serious with Ghana if you have not taken the youth seriously, and you cannot be serious yourself if you have not put the youth ahead of you. And that is the clear difference between John Mahama and his competitors. Now, if you look at track record in terms of getting the job done, I think now it is clear that the person who had a minimum amount of time yet achieved the highest, development project is John Mahama. And beyond that, you see, when you look at the fact that John Mahama did just one term, and you look at the fact that apart from all the projects he implemented, he has saved a lot of money in what Petroleum Management Fund had money in it, the other funds, contingency funds had money, and now those funds are empty. Within 8 years, all those funds are empty. Funds that had billions of cedis in them, before 2016 are all empty. What do they have to show for it? You drive around and you don't see what exactly is happening in the country in terms of development. Then you think that, okay, maybe we are not seeing infrastructure, so then maybe we are seeing human development. Then you come to the human development, then you realize that people are poorer than they used to be. Aged, retired people don't even have access to what? their money. No, when I say access to their money, I'm assuming that the money is there, they are not having access. The money has been taken out of their pocket, because the pension money is not government money. It is your own money which has been kept for you. So sometimes we misunderstand pension and we think that it's taxpayers' money. No, that is how serious this haircut thing is. It is your own money which someone has taken from you. Then you look at the youth, then you see that almost everyone who is youth in this country doesn't have a job. We don't have a job, and even those of us who say we have a job, we are underemployed. That is one concept that we have not paid attention to: underemployment. The fact that you are doing something doesn't mean that you are employed. Some things are meant to be done for 1 hour, but most of the people who say they have jobs are spending 8 hours doing the same thing. And then you come to healthcare, then it is collapsed. Then you come to what? Road, then the roads are in bad shape. Then you come to everything human is declining. Then you come to the freedoms. The freedoms, I'm a lawyer, so I come into contact with freedom, justice, trial, fair trial, and all these issues every day. Human rights abuses, and they are through the roof. And then freedom of the press, we saw the indexes. We are falling below. We are now competing with countries that are known to be dictators, like countries that we never think we can, like Gambia. We are running alongside the Gambia, the James Gambia kind of. That is where we have reached.
So unfortunately, this conversation will not continue for a while now, because we need to go inside the main Professor Jofu's Anamwa Mensa auditorium, where the manifesto launch will be taking place. But don't forget that this is Wezo TV Election Center, and thanks to all those who have joined us to share this conversation across the length and breadth of this country and across the globe. And of course, this broadcast will be live and will continue till the event ends today. So don't go anywhere. Just stay. Let your set or your chairs be glued to your TV sets and watch our programming, because we have more to share with you. I've been doing the discussion with Dr. Justice Remsai. He's a senior lecturer at the University of Ghana School of Law. Dr. Albert Kwamiatha is also a lecturer here at the University of Education, Winneba. He's a patron for the 10 students. And then of course we also have Dr. Maliha Abubakari, who joined us earlier, a political science lecturer at the University of Education, Winneba, and Professor Ferdinand Ahiako, an economist with the University of Cape Coast, also joined us. So we are going into the auditorium after here, and I believe that while you continue to watch and listen to the presentations, you would also have the opportunity to see what is happening outside the auditorium. This is Wezo TV. Stay with us.
Don Mahama waya 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 waya.
Oh, raise your flood, we've walked this path far too long. So let us rewrite our history, for Ghana needs a change.
And may the heavens rescue this land. We need a man with vision to lead. John Mahama is the man for us. Oh, Ghana needs a change.
Mumbai, sorry, and Menum, yeah, Johnny's the best man. Arise for a change. Time I swore. Time yaki. Mama and sorry oh.
John Mahama is the man for us.
Oh, Ghana needs a change. Let us rise for a change.
A vote for Mahama is a vote for Ghana.
Ghana needs the best thing. Arise for a change. Ghana, na neighbor, Sakia.
Oh my no, sebe yo. Oh my no, sebe yo. Yes na hose. Oh my for brandre. Oh my no, sebe yo. Oh my no, sebe yo. Yes na hose. Oh my for
Don Mahama waya 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 waya. Waya Don Mahama waya 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 waya. Waya
In the midst of Ghana's bustling landscapes, amid the vibrant rhythms of Komenda, emerged a figure whose legacy resonates far beyond the sandy shores of her homeland. She is Professor Jane Nana Opoku Ajiman, an embodiment of wisdom, a nurturer of minds, and a trailblazer in the realm of education and leadership. Born in Cape Coast, Ghana, Professor Opoku Ajiman's journey is a testament to the power of perseverance and the transformative potential of education. As a daughter of Komenda, she carries with her that shape her approach to leadership. From the corridors of Wesley Girls High School to the halls of academia at the University of Cape Coast and beyond, Professor Opoku Ajiman has left an indelible mark on the educational landscape of Ghana.
Today, for me, is a day to reflect.
But beyond her title